This happened to me a few days after my original story about the deep web. I was extremely rattled by what happened. The police tried to track down the website, but since there was no way for them to recover my history, I had originally found the sick site just by randomly clicking on links. It seemed pretty hopeless to find it. The police told me to change all of my information and to just move in with a friend. After changing pretty much all of my information, I decided to move in with my friend David. David was an extremely honest, hardworking person. He never went to parties, slacked off, or got drunk or high. He was very dedicated to finishing college. In fact, he was one of the few kids that I knew at the time who wasn't getting on the deep web. I told him all about my experience with the deep web, and that's mostly why he agreed to let me stay with him. One night, we were both up studying very late when my phone went off. I looked to see who had texted me and saw that the person sending the message had no number. Just like before. It read, "Check your computer." And there was nothing else to it. Just one simple instruction. I opened up my laptop and I noticed that I didn't have control over the mouse. I tried to move it, but the mouse just moved on its own. Someone had remote access to my laptop somehow. I never gave anyone remote access before, and I tried a whole bunch of keyboard commands, but to no avail. I noticed that whoever had control of my laptop was downloading a software, most likely malware, but there was nothing I could do. I heard my phone go off again, and this time the message said, "Look out your window." I was sitting near a window. I didn't know which window the guy was referring to, so I looked out the one I was sitting by. I saw a man in the parking lot leaning up against a white van. He had a phone in his hand, and when I looked down at him, he nodded. My phone went off again. Type in and hold Alt F5, Shift Alt F5, at the same time to activate the software. I called in David to my room to show him what was going on. He seemed just as nervous as I. I called him Fuck. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He seemed just as nervous as I was, but with the man just outside our window, we didn't want to anger him. David called the police right away and told me that they would be there soon. I didn't activate the software. I just sat there. And eventually I got another text. "I'm coming in if you do not do it right now." I didn't know why he or the person in the control of my computer couldn't do it, but I didn't dare ask. At the same time, though, I was 99% sure this program had malware, spyware, or something that would be very harmful to my computer. So I refused to activate it. David grabbed a baseball bat just in case the man outside tried to come in. About 5 minutes later, we heard the doorknob turning. It was locked. But we then heard banging on the door. We both freaked out, and I looked out the window again. Sure enough, the man and the van were gone. The banging on the door got more and more violent until eventually we heard a horrible scratching sound. It lasted a few more minutes, and then we heard footsteps walk down the hall and eventually fade away. I received another text. We will be back. That really got to me, and when the cops arrived, they told me to look at my door. I followed them back out into the hallway and saw engraved in our door my name. John. The police began investigating the whole building, and they had a tech police officer come in and look at my computer. He began to do scans and investigate the weird software on my laptop, and eventually he managed to close and remove it and told me that my laptop wasn't safe. He said that the core files of it have been hacked into or corrupted. We did a complete wipe of my laptop, and he looked at my phone as well, just like last time. He couldn't tell where the messages came from, and told me that they would be sure to keep some cops nearby in case this ever happened again. The next day, I just got home from school and was really tired. David wasn't home yet, so I went into my room and fell onto the bed. I had just begun to close my eyes when I heard a rattling sound in my closet. I lifted my head up and didn't hear it again, so I went back to sleep. After a few minutes, the closet door swung open, and I leaped out of bed and saw a man with a mask walking over to me. I ran to the door and as fast as I could and slammed it behind me. I ran out into the parking lot and started my car and drove away as fast as I could. By the time the police arrived, the man was, of course, gone. The apartment surprisingly hadn't been wrecked or anything. We didn't even find anything stolen. He didn't seem to do anything at first. This night, 2 police officers were monitoring everyone who came in and out of the building in order to catch him. I opened up my laptop and noticed that my wallpaper had changed. It was just a bunch of trees before, but now it had been changed to a sickening photo of a man with a mask. The same mask that I saw on the man who was in my closet, digging a knife into a baby's eye in what looked like a small cabin. I also noticed that my applications and programs were gone, and I saw that the same software as last time. It was right in the middle of my screen. I clicked on it, and it had already been installed. Just like last time, it filled the entire screen in what looked like a live stream. Excuse me. And what looked like a live stream was going on. I couldn't exit out, and the live stream was coming from a boy's house. He looked about 13 or 14 years old and was at his computer. It didn't take long for me to see that I was watching through his webcam, and he had no idea. I saw a small chat box pop up in the right corner of the screen, and in it, someone typed in the box, Welcome to our live stream, and we're glad that everyone can make it here. Thank you, John, for being here as well. My eyes got very wide. My name was John, and they were waiting until I was watching to start the live stream. As I watched, I saw that the closet door behind the poor boy slowly opened, and a man walked out with a toolbox in one hand. He quietly set the toolbox down and pulled out some duct tape. He went behind the kid and put the tape over his mouth. He grabbed him tight. The poor kid's face was total fear. He tried to scream, but he couldn't because of the tape. They were making a decent amount of noise, so it told me that the kid must have been home alone. Major NSFW right here, so proceed with caution, please. I tried hard to exit out, but I couldn't. I then saw the man take out a screwdriver, drive it into the kid's chest, and blood began to pour out, and the kid made an awful wheezing type noise. I saw tears come from his eyes as the sick man began to drive the screwdriver deeper and deeper and then yank it out. The man then took a hammer and smashed the kid's hand several times until there was nothing more than a mangled, bloody mess. I tried every command that I could to exit, but nothing was working. I noticed that in the chat box, several people were cheering the man on, requesting him to do different things to the boy. The man took out a handheld electric saw, pressed it against the boy's face, and turned it on. The boy screamed with pain as the saw went up into his eye, causing blood to go everywhere, and get on the camera a little as well. I started to get tears in my eyes and I couldn't stop it. Then the man took the screwdriver, gouged out the kid's eyes, and took a large knife. He proceeded to slit the boy's throat and tossed him on the ground. I was sick. I threw up all over the floor, and when I looked back, I saw the chat box. People were typing in such horrible things like fap, or oh my god, that was so wonderful. Thanks so much for doing this, and etc. in the box. I saw someone named Culture45 type into the box, "Thanks for watching, John." After that, the program closed on its own, and I was left with a sickening wallpaper. I was sweating, breathing heavily, and feeling sick throughout the entire thing. I didn't realize that my phone had gone off several times. I looked at it, and the most hateful, mean messages were coming from my friends and family. I asked my mom what was wrong, and she texted back, "You sent that sick, disturbing live stream to everyone. I can't believe who you are. The police have been called." I felt even more sick than before. The monsters had sent that live stream to all my friends somehow, and made it come from me. They had pretty much ruined my life within a couple of minutes. When the police arrived, I told them everything that had happened, and quickly they managed to explain all my friends and family what had happened. They really cracked down on finding these people, and a month later, 4 men had been arrested. One was Culture45, the other was Admin1, and the two others were working with him. The site was found and shut down as well. I got a new laptop and phone. I could say some horror cliche here and say something like, I kept getting text, or I kept hearing weird things ever since, but none of that actually happened. They were arrested, and I never heard anything further. It's good to know that those men are in jail for perhaps even dead. What scares me is all the other people watching the live stream who are there for pleasure. They're still out there, and there's probably thousands of other Culture45s out there all over the world. If you ever go on the deep web, make damn sure you're as careful as possible. Oh, okay, yeah, that was part two of I wasn't careful enough on the deep web. Um, it was actually fairly entertaining. So far I actually enjoyed the whole little the whole thing. It was really nice, even for a two-page creepypasta. It wasn't that bad, to be honest. Um, I'm really glad the guy actually did a part two and such, and went on ahead and made it so. Um, Yet again, the person who made this is the John Thongtron, I think. Packathon John. That was what it was. The guy who made it is Packathon. Excuse me. I've been having problems burping. Enjoy. And anyway, yeah, Packathon John, this is a great job, and I hope you do more stuff like this. Uh, I'm not even sure that I'm pretty sure this is fake, so I'm not gonna sit here and say the story's real. But this was quite a little scary campfire story, and I'm willing to share it. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed the whole little the actual setting in it. And what's scary is that this can actually happen to anybody, which actually does happen to people. This is based on true shit. For those of you who don't know about the deep web, it's a basically you have to get to it through an onion router, which or through Tor and download Tails as well. I mean, I even downloaded Tails and such on my on a flash drive so I could boot it as a live and use a VM software whenever I go in the deep web. Fuck, because of the fact that you can literally just wipe your entire. It's more vulnerable to malware. People can find your actual IP address. Um, it's freaking scary. Just like that, if you type anything like if you find a really disgusting site like CP or gore or anything like that, you will and you type something in anywhere on the forums, on in a chat box or whatever, you are going to get either banned from the site and tracked, and you are going to get killed, or you're just going to get banned from the site and they just don't want you there anymore and tracked to make sure you're not going to tell anybody and eventually kill your ass. So, by the way, I hope this doesn't scare anybody of going on the deep web. Um, the deep web is a, it's a big world out there, but I really don't want people getting scared of going on the deep web. The reason being is that a lot of the times these red rooms, quote unquote red rooms, they don't really exist. I mean, I could see them going onto the clear web, but I don't think ever that you could actually do a live stream on the deep web, which is god near impossible unless you're freaking at running streaming at 50p or 144p at max. It's there isn't any way you can actually stream. Um, Number two is you will. There are red rooms, I think, but there's just absolutely no way of proving that because you know. I mean, there's this one video on YouTube where some guy actually got a message from. I can't really say the guy's name because it's anonymous. Basically, it's an anonymous message over Facebook saying that they had a story for him and he was willing to do it. So basically, they told him the entire story and shit, and the creepy guy even got the creeps. So I mean, I forgot who that was. I think that was not Creeps McPasta, but somebody else. And eventually, he actually learned more about him, and he seemed too legit. Like he was way too freaking legit. It was just stupid. And the real reason is just, you know, and all I gotta say is be careful on the deep web. Don't do anything stupid like buying CP or buying weed or whatever with your real address. Freaking idiots. You use it like if you're gonna do anything illegal, don't do anything illegal, guys. Um, don't do anything illegal unless you want to go to jail. Um, Besides that, I mean, you can actually go and buy weed or whatever the hell on the deep web. It's not that hard. You just got to use a PO box and whatever. Um, Besides that, I mean, there isn't really much to talk about anymore. Just don't be too scared of the deep web. That's just really all I gotta say about that. And I really do want more people to actually check it out, due to the fact that it would just it proved my point that the deep web isn't all that bad, and there's not that many people out there to kill you. Nobody's out there to kill you unless you actually hire somebody to kill you, or somebody hires a hitman to kill you, or somebody just is just sick of you and you're Justin Bieber or something. And nobody's dead set on raping you or anything on the deep web, so long as you're safe. Just remember to be safe on the deep web. Do's and don'ts, I mean, I could do a little bit of tutorial on YouTube. I'm considering thinking about it. Tutorial on how to access the deep web safely and such. Um, how to use it, how etc. etc. Um, because to be honest, I don't even use it on a regular basis. I mean, I just use it to find stories and shit, like creepy pastas and yeah, I guess gore sites too, because shit, that's what gets me curious if these things actually exist. Which I did stumble onto a couple of gore sites. It was like random gore of the day or something like shit like that. I found Dead Girls, but the link was dead. Dead like the Dead Girls. That sounds wrong. That sounds really wrong. I need to shut up. Anyway, don't be scared, guys. It's not anything bad. You won't get hacked in like a MLG quickscoper. And besides that, just click here on the subscribe button below my name. And this has been Creepy Ass, and like, comment, subscribe, and stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.